Welcome to day 10 of the 30-day JavaScript challenge. Imagine you are in coding interview and the interviewer hits you with this. Find the longest common prefix. So don't panic, we have got this. By end of this video, you will feel super confident solving this popular interview problem. It is like unlocking cheat codes for your future interviews. So let's jump right into it. Now, what is the problem? Our task is to find the longest common prefix among an array of strings. If the strings have nothing common, then we have to return an empty string. And you have two examples in your screen. So the first example, we have an array of flower, flow, and flight. And you can see the longest prefix here we have is FL because it appears in three words and it is the longest one. The second example, if you can see, we have dog, race car, and car. And they don't have any common prefix, so we have to return an empty string. So we can break down this step by step. First thing, we need to check for edge case. So if the input list is empty, then we just return an empty string right away. The second thing is to assume the first word is the prefix, using the first string as our initial best guess for the common prefix. For example, for our first example, flower, flow, and flight, we start with flower. Compare the prefix with each word. So we go through the list and check if the prefix fits. If it doesn't, trim the prefix by removing the last character. And we keep trimming until it fits or become empty. So if the prefix changes to empty string, then we return it as since there is no common part. Now, let's break it down in our code. So I will declare a function, and this function will accept an argument which is our string. Okay, and we say the first thing we need to do is handle the edge case. Okay, so what we'll do is that if our strings dot length is equal to 0, then we just return an empty string. Simple as that. Now, the second thing we do is, let's say, of course, we have an array of strings. So let's get our prefix. We'll start with the first string as the initial prefix. Okay, so we will define a variable called prefix, and that will be equal to our first word in our array. Then now we'll loop through it. We'll use the for loop. I'll define a pointer, which I'll call it I, which will start from 1, because now we already stored the first one. So we'll start from the second in our array, and as long our I is smaller than our array.length, then we just keep looping through our array. And what we'll do, we'll compare the prefix with the current string. So compare the prefix with current string. So we'll use a while loop. So while our current word, we'll use index of to find the prefix in that word. So index of our prefix is different than 0. What we'll compare here is that if the prefix doesn't match, okay, then we will shorten our prefix. So if the prefix does not, and we'll update our variable. So prefix will be equal to our previous prefix dot, and we slice it from 0 to our previous prefix dot length minus 1. Okay, so basically we just remove the last character from it. Now If the prefix becomes empty, so we'll keep shortening our prefix, right? But when we hit the last round, which will be an empty. So if the prefix is empty, so we'll handle that scenario. So if prefix is equal to an empty string, then we just return empty string. Our loop is completed. What we'll do now is just return the prefix. And what I will do, I'll just add some console logs with the examples we had, and also some other examples too. And actually I can see here the result is not what I'm expecting, and I found I did a huge mistake here. Of course we have to loop through as long as we are still within our array. Pointer should be always less than the length of our array. So I'll just fix that, and let's run this, and there we go. So the first one we expect an FL, which is correct, an empty string, which is correct, an int, which is correct, an apple, which is great, and then we have an empty string as well here. So there you have it. We have solved this issue also within the time complexity of O(n) multiplied by m, where n is the number of strings and m is the length of the shortest string. And the space is just O(n) because we only store the prefix string. And that is it. You have just cracked the longest common prefix problem, day 10 of our 30-day challenge. So keep this approach in your back pocket for your next coding interview, and you'll be one step closer to landing your dream job. If this video helped you, smash that like button, subscribe for more, and share this with friends prepping for interviews. See you tomorrow for day 11. You are doing awesome.